Hi everyone, super late, quick video here today. Markets went straight up basically all session, straight through the levels, straight through the trends, and we are now at very close to record highs. Can we continue to go higher? Let's take a quick look at the charts. Do me a quick favor and like and subscribe and watch the video till the end to help out the channel, and let's get started. Looking at fear and greed, we stepped up to a 47 from a 44. Markets continue to look really bullish here, and you can see some of the metrics stepping towards that bullish area. Neutral on momentum, that's a step up. Breadth, strength continues to trend higher. Breadth still hovering. We'll see what that looks like later. Put call ratio stepping a little bit higher here today in regular fear. Interesting, even with markets going higher. Volatility continues to pull back, and then bonds, both of those are heading into greed territory. So overall, metrics continue to improve in my opinion. And then looking at the charts here, like I said, real quick one here today, but we are pretty much right at these levels, close to those all-time highs. With the high from the 31st of January being 609.96, we're right there. The high today was 609.94, so we missed it by just a few pennies. The high from 24 January is 609.81, right in that range, very close to breaking out to new all-time highs. Price discovery, momentum bullish, RSI bullish. If it breaks out, obviously, that's going to be a very bullish indicator. And then looking at the hourly chart, you can see it was basically straight up all session. We talked about this yesterday with the bounce into this consolidation. If we got the break above this level here, 605 area, and then 607, that was going to be a bullish indicator. We pushed right to that level, got the continuation through it after a slight pullback. Hit this trend here, maybe that matters a little bit. You got another little bit of overhead resistance around 610.74, but either way, everything looks pretty bullish, and you can see all of the volume pretty much coming through at the end of the session. So overall, pretty bullish here on the S&Ps. And then looking at the Tasty charts here, you can see we are getting to that upper range on the hourly, hitting that upper band, which right now is at 609.72. Usually we start to slow down. You can still kind of grind higher slowly, but we're in that vicinity where you don't kind of see these rocket ship style moves the way that we saw today, or potentially even see a little bit of a pullback. Either way though, still looks like bullish conditions, bullish momentum, bullish volume, just looking at those upper limits of the ATR bands. And then moving over to the NASDAQ, very similar thesis here, not quite at those all-time highs. That's going to be 538.28. We're right now at 535, so not quite there, but still very strong. Broke the trend, broke the level here, still looking at 538.28 as your upper level. You can see that level here. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish. Everything does look really good here coming off of this kind of dip down test, continuation higher to new highs, which does kind of start this as more of a bull trend. We've been chopping sideways for a couple of months. Are we going to take out this high here and start on a new upward trend? Seems a little bit more likely after today's session, and you can see it here on the hourly. Pulled back, retested the trend, continuation to that next one, 533. Again, pulled back, tested this trend. Pretty deep pullback, honestly, here to the 530 area, and then continued higher pretty much through the end of the session, and then looking for that next level, 538.28. Moving over to the NASDAQ on the Tasty charts here, you can see we hit that upper band just for a moment, 535.97, pulled back slightly. Current upper band is 536.72. Gives you just a little bit of room, but either way, probably going to start to slow down. You can see we got close to it, pulled back, touched it again, pulled back. If we touch it again, still expecting this to kind of grind higher, but might pull back, maybe sideways consolidate a little bit. Overall, still looks bullish. Moving over to the Russell and the Dow. The Russell had a good day as well, 1.13% to the upside. The Dow just short of 1%. Looked like a double top. We held VWAP in here, held the level 441.43, and now we're back into the middle of the range. Kind of looks a little bit more like a wedge now with this slightly higher low setup off of this. Held the trend, momentum stepping to bullish. RSIs are definitely still a zone of resistance. Could come into that area and reject. Same here on the IWM, close to that level at 50.55 right now. The RSI is 49.74, so probably going to touch that tomorrow, but on a level basis, we got back above 226.02, looking for that 229, maybe the 55 EMA, which has been resistance these last couple times. They're at 228.67. Either way, though, momentum stepping back to bullish, volume ramping on that bullish push, which is relatively bullish overall. Moving over to Apple and Microsoft. Apple having another great day, pushing right to that next level. So this was another great setup if you took it here. So 237.23 was the level break. Buy at the level, go to the next one, 241.83, and that is right where we stopped for the day. So great entry, great risk reward, right to the level. Momentum bullish, RSI bullish, and then you can see Microsoft here. It was positive on the day, 0.37, but didn't get back to the level for 1336. Still below the 9 EMA, still looking not so great relative to everything else here. So Apple looks good. If you get the break, looking for the trend here around 250. Microsoft still cannot get above the level, still expecting that to be resistance. Moving over to NVIDIA and Tesla. Tesla actually had a really strong day, 5.77% here today, gapped up and rallied. It was super oversold. We touched the trend, we bounced from there, and then looking at NVIDIA, strong bounce here as well, 3.16%. Pushed through this, slight pullback, held the level at 130.35, and then we pushed very close to that highly traded zone here at 136.50 or so, and then you got a level 140.76. Right now, 55 EMA resistance 135.20. If it pushes through there, 140 is your next level. If it rejects from that 55, then you're at 130.35 for support. Either way, both of these look a little bit bullish, at least in the short term. Tesla, still a little bit hesitant. NVIDIA still looks pretty good. Moving over to staples and discretionary. Staples continues to look really, really strong. Another 1% higher, pushed through the level 81.18, headed towards 81.85. Very, very strong move here. We had the base, continuation continues to look very, very good. And then you got discretionaries. It was positive on the day, but the structure looks not so great. You do have a high, slightly higher low here. You do have a low with a slightly higher low here, high, lower high. Overall still looks like consolidation, zone of resistance in here, 228.42. Momentum stepping to bullish. I wouldn't be super excited about this yet, whereas staples obviously looks very, very bullish. So overall, still risk off for me. Moving over to breadth. Breadth caught a little bit of an up move after the 5 days in a row of down move here on the 20-day breadth. Caught a little bit of a move, still below 51.75. Momentum stepping to bullish. This is a swing here. So if we're starting to get this kind of start back to the upside, that's a much higher low from this previous low here. And then similarly here on the 50-day, if this was all of the pullback and we start to see this break higher, that is going to be a very bullish indicator. Momentum stepping to bullish, RSI, it's right there. Is it going to break through it? We'll watch for it tomorrow. If it rejects from here, obviously not so great. So watching this critical zone, overall breadth has held up quite well, even with this very small pullback that we saw over the last couple of weeks. Moving over to yields here just for a second, we've had really strong yields going higher on the CPI data, and then we gave pretty much all of that back. Markets just do not seem to care that much. 10-year yield pulling back below that 4.55 level. Momentum basically zero, RSI basically neutral, which is what you want to see in a bullish market. You want to see these yields continue to remain pretty stable. And that seems to be what we're getting here. Pretty stable, 4.3 for the 2-year, 5-year just a little bit higher than that. Relatively flat, but stable. Moving over to the dollar having a pretty big sell-off here today. This is probably what's allowing markets to rally as aggressively as they did. We got the dollar pulling back. 106.84 is the level. We're close to these lows here. If it takes that out, that's going to be quite bearish for the dollar, which is overall bullish for equities. And you can see it here on the hourly chart. Consistently lower highs. We talked about it here. Came in, touched the level, wicked it, and then immediately pulled back. Same here, touched the level, pulled back, touch the level, pull back. Overall, looking pretty consistently downtrending. And if the dollar continues to sell, that's going to be bullish for equities, and that is the hope. Moving over to bonds. Bonds had an incredibly strong day, up about 0.5% on JNK. TLT 1.66% there. Overall, really, really good. We talked about it. This was the zone. We said maybe it goes this low, but probably not. 85.90. I thought we might touch that, but apparently not. Gap up, gap down, gap up. Overall bullish. Momentum not going with it yet. RSI not going with it yet, but I still like this to kind of chop higher and head towards that 92.81 area once we break through this 89.16, which I do think will happen. And then JNK, like I said, really, really strong up candle back above 96.50. Want to see this continue into that 96.69 area. Pretty good risk on indicator there from JNK. We'll see if that continues into tomorrow's session. Moving over to my accounts, overall I made a little bit of money. I should have made more money, but I didn't adjust to the rally nearly as quickly as I should have. It says I made a bunch. Obviously I didn't make nearly that much, but On the positions here, you can see the shares did really well. Obviously held those through the session, rolled out and up on this options position. The max profit here is now 537.69, so I have a little bit more room on that for the end of next week. We'll see. I might roll this out. I'm going to try to be a little bit less active on this kind of market. Want to roll this up and out and just kind of let the market do what it's going to do. I think we're going to be in a pretty bullish condition if we can hold the gains from today and maybe go just a little bit higher, maybe to get into a little bit of price discovery, but overall everything looks pretty bullish, and I do want to continue to participate in that. So overall looks good. And then I did put a Russell position on as well for tomorrow, 227 call for 50 cents. Bought the shares here, 226.27. It did close just down a smidgen there, but overall it's held up really well, and I want to participate in that. So back into covered calls, looking for a little bit of upside. Let me know down in the comment section what you thought of the markets. How did they perform for you today? Where do you think they are going? Are we going to break out to all-time highs and continue higher? Let me know. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.